Everybody out there, I haven't done one of these in a little while. And again, it's because when I'm feeling poorly, it's easy to come on here because it helps me process my feelings and shows you that, the difficulty when you get into difficulty, like how I'm trying to get out. But I don't come on often enough when things are going well. So I'm going to continue to do that. I wanted to say that I started reading Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. And for some reason, the way he described things, it's the same thing as Michael Singer, right? It's all one truth. But, I got a different perspective. And it's good to have more than one perspective, right? And I feel like, oh, wow, I see my aura better with my glasses off. Okay, interesting. Anyway, so I've been feeling a lot better. But excuse me. I've been in the now much more often. One of the things that I do that helps me a lot is I listen to, right now it's Eckhart Tolle, but usually it's Michael Singer or Caroline Myss. I don't know. But I've been feeling calmer. That's probably the best word to describe it. I'm also, the whole energy thing, which if you've watched other videos, you might know about it. You might, excuse me. But for like a year now, I've been sort of purging this energy that's been inside of me and broken up because my muscles were so tight. And I finally broke my muscles up with like those balls and those roller things, like all over my body. And I thinking like being really close, I like really focusing on one part of like this or that. I was able to break up the tension in my scalp and my back and my neck and my face, to where like these energy bodies just started flying out of me. And what they are some scars, right? They're the tension that I've built up. And it's amazing how much tension, how many of these are here and how many different ways they are inside of me. For instance, the ones that left at first were just ones that kind of were stuffed in there and weren't really attached to anything else. And that took a while. My third eye at one point felt for like a good 2 weeks like it was spewing stuff out. It's like, oh my God, like it felt literally like, this is gonna sound gross, but like diarrhea coming out of my forehead. It was so weird. Anyway, it goes through these stages. So I got rid of all the freeform ones, and then there were ones that sort of came out but were attached somewhere, and they kind of wiggled around. And I was kind of able to get those out. It took me a little while to figure it out, but I came up with a technique of getting those out. And that was like following the energy back to its source and kind of focusing on its source and kind of being able to dissipate it. And then there's like I can't even describe it. There are a ton of samskaras that some of them have glommed on together and formed masses, and they're all over in different areas of body where you're like, oh yeah, that area sometimes hurts. It's because of tension. Because of samskaras. The tension is samskaras. Interesting enough. And samskara, if you don't know, is that basically the tension that when you hold on to an incident and you don't let it go, like an emotional thing that you don't want to let yourself feel, you hold on to it. You physically, this is weird, but you physically tense a part of your body and you hold on to it. You hold on to that energy and it goes in circles. It goes in very fast circles most of the time. And there's these huge blobs of it that are like stuck. It feels kind of like on the wall of inside of me. And I've done various things to get rid of them. Anyway, at this point, this point, I'm letting go of a lot that has been there for a long time. Like I can feel it melt down my face sometimes, and there's a strong energy that's still here. Like it's literally like pulling my jaw and my face down. I mean, a lot of this energy is very heavy energy, and it goes down, which makes me feel lighter. But yeah, like something will ease up here, and like my back tightens a little. So I tighten my back, I loosen my back, and it comes out of, it comes out here. It's really fascinating. And I'm seeing all these colors. Recently, I mean, usually it's red, blue, or purple. Recently, I've been seeing yellow and green and orange, which, I mean, I assume that these are colors of the chakras, but like, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. We are like, why am I just seeing this like really deep red color? It's so interesting. I can't even tell you, what was I going to tell you? Yeah, so I've been able to let a lot of those go. It's kind of a constant thing at this point. It's just, it's just energy that's been there. It's sort of allowing itself to fall away. Well, not fall, kind of, because there are still parts in there that are tight, kind of like, sometimes it's eking out, sometimes it gets stuck, because there are parts that are like really stuck. And, part that's kind of leaving, sometimes we'll hit it, and it's like, it's really strange. It's really strange, but it's interesting as hell. So I can watch it for hours. Anyway, point being, I've been listening to Eckhart Tolle, and it's been making me calmer. And I find that if I listen to it at least once a day, so it reminds me, it stays top of mind, I'm calmer. So I have been calmer in my approach to things. And another thing that I'm doing that I'm pretty proud of myself for is working on my reactions to my father. He triggers me just by existing. I love him, don't get me wrong. I love the man. He's a good guy. He's good intentioned. He's very well intentioned. He just thinks a certain way and does certain things that are like it makes me want to like jump out of my skin. Like I can't, he can just like not even look at me wrong, but like just, it's so easy for me to just, but I've been able to notice it and relax my body, and it's still uncomfortable. I'm still feeling the emotion. It's like, ugh. And like if he were to come over to me, I'd probably get angry, but if he's just hanging out over there, it's like, okay, I can deal with this. It's not like the back crawling thing that it was. So I think, and this is the other thing, like, okay, so I'm living at my parents' house right now. Not the ideal situation, but the more where it kind of goes on, the more I believe that I'm supposed to be here, which makes me feel a lot better about it. Because my mom's having some troubles, some mobility troubles, and I think they'll get solved, but it's really hard for her to walk around right now. And so she's using a walker. And poor I think she, she's been in physical therapy to get her balance back, get her balance better. And she did like a lunge, and I think I think the muscle went spasm. That's my personal medical opinion. But anyway, so I've been helping her a lot. And also I've been working on this, I mean, honestly, my father's the biggest trigger in my life, the biggest trigger in my life. And I think I'm like, this is a big thing to shed. I've never wanted to shed it before. It's always been like I don't know if it's been an identity thing, or it's satisfying to be angry. Because I have a lot of unresolved anger, let's just be honest. But it's not worth talking to him about, because he's not rational. And I don't want to hurt his feelings. You know what I mean? I don't want to hurt his feelings. He does everything the best he can. He really does. And there's no reason to upset him, but I have to resolve it within myself. So lately I've been trying to do that, but it's funny because it's tiring. And like, I was at my in-laws, my brother's in-laws, but they're pretty much family. No, not pretty much, they're family. I was over there kind of hanging out and talking to his mother-in-law and father-in-law. And, you know, we had been over there the night before, my mom and my father and me. And we're kind of talking about my mom and talking about my dad. And I was just like just, oof, about, I probably said a little bit more than I should have. But it was just like this, it was like me dropping it. Not dropping it, but just like releasing it. And it felt like, I mean, I was still heavy. It was still heavy. It wasn't gone, but it was moving away. It was just moving out of me. But it has stroked up a bit more anger than I think it would stroke up. Like, I would normally have not have said anything to my in-laws about my dad. I would have been like, you know, just, okay, we all know him. He's weird and quirky and whatever. But, you know, I said a few things that were a bit deeper, but I do know them pretty well. I mean, I lived with them for a little while, but I probably, yeah. It's a tired anger, though. It's not like that fresh, like, that I used to get. So I think being here is important for me because I am releasing that, and that is the biggest thing in my life that I can release, my anger towards my father. If I can release that, when I release that, I'm going to feel so much freer. It's awesome. Like, it's awesome. So anyway, this energy stuff has been draining out of me, and it's just, it feels good. It feels good because areas that have been tight for decades, because I have been around for multiple decades. It's so weird not being young. So it's been there for decades, and it's finally like loosening. It's finally shedding itself of this energy. And so like it feels funny, and it's sometimes it's a little bit sore. Sorry, I'm keeping my eyes closed because I'm tired. Sometimes, anyway, the point of this whole video was supposed to be something completely different. I had an incident a little bit earlier with someone it's a whole thing. I'm gonna try and just say the important parts because I don't really want to go into it, and I'm tired, and I don't want to spend an hour discussing the whole thing. But let's just say that there was miscommunication, and I generally, what happens when things like this happen is I blame myself, and I start emotionally castigating myself, emotionally flagellating myself. But I'm not doing that. It's tempting. It's right outside of me. So I'm sitting here like, interesting, like I'm kind of feeling it, but I'm watching it, and I'm not engaging with it, which I guess is what they talk about in these books. And like, I know it would be really easy to go back into that pattern of like feeling horrible and just being like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this, da, 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 da. But it was a completely honest misunderstanding, completely honest miscommunication. I know my heart was in the right place the whole time. It just was a result of not communicating enough about the thing. Okay, relax. But I'm doing a much better job being in the moment. And anyway, so this feeling of being like, knowing that my pattern reaction, my robot reaction, the reaction that you will always know that I'm going to have, which is really sweating over this, really getting very anxious, like not even being able to like sit down and like walk around. And like I wrote her, an email about, like apologizing and, explaining. And, normally I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe how stupid I am, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not, which is great. It's really, really great. But it's still there. Like, it's not completely gone. It's still like hanging out over here. It's like, you want to kind of start doing that? Because that's what we do. Remember, it's comfortable. So while I'm feeling it, I'm not doing it. I'm not interacting with it. I'm not engaging with it. But I'm still feeling it, which makes me feel unsettled. Hence the name of this video, okay, but unsettled. Anyway, so I just wanted to come on and report the progress, right? Not just the problems, the progress that I'm making, because I make a lot of progress. I work really hard. I work really hard at doing this, at working on myself and improving myself, improving my, my view of the world, my view of myself, my feelings towards myself. I found my ring, which, if you know or don't know, this is my wedding ring. I married myself, and it is to remind me to always love myself and be good to myself and honor myself and be true to myself, in the sense, like, keep my word to myself. That one's a hard one. I'm working on that. It's okay, baby. Sorry. Sometimes I talk to myself a little bit like I am both sides of a relationship. But it's an interesting conversation and emotion that I feel when I do that. But excuse me. But yeah, I don't normally come on here and report the progress. I normally come on here and report the pain and how I'm how I'm dealing with the pain. And that has led a lot of people to think that I'm just in a bad place, which I'm not. I'm actually in a pretty good place for me. And I haven't had like any, I don't know, episodes, but I haven't had any strong emotional reactions, disproportionately strong emotional reactions, which is sort of my MO. Completely have emotional reactions that are not appropriate to the situation. They're called, from what I understand, from what I was told, trauma responses. I haven't, as far as I know, screened myself awake in several weeks. So that's good. Anyway, the reason this happens is because, well, number one, when I come on, I take myself out of the emotion. So when I'm feeling uncomfortable, I come in front of the camera and I can talk it out, and I'm intellectualizing it, which is probably not the best thing to do. But, I'm explaining it and I'm working through it, and I'm trying to show you how I'm working through it so you can try and work through your own shit. Not that I'm, not that you should follow me, but I'm just showing you that it can be done in different ways. You could do it. Because I've grown a lot emotionally, and it's pretty awesome. And I'm pretty proud of myself because I'm awesome. Anyway, we've covered a lot of ground. Today. I haven't been doing Unfeathered Fridays, and I'm going to start doing that again. And I just said that out loud, so I must. I am. I will. I do. Is there anything else I wanted to say? Yeah. Oh, so when I'm feeling uncomfortable, I come and I speak and I work through it, and it takes me out of it. When I'm having a positive moment, a positive emotional reaction, when I'm releasing things, and when I'm realizing things, and when I'm being calm and being like, oh, I'm not normally like this. Cool. This feels better. It feels uncomfortable because it's strange. It's unsettling. It's like, this is not my normal thing. And it's kind of like, I don't know what to, I don't know. It's like, I've always been like, I don't know what to do with this emotion. And so like, I just allow it to take over. But now that doesn't seem to be happening as much anymore, which is fantastic. So blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So when I'm feeling the changes, the realizations, and I'm in my body in the moment, especially with this energy stuff. Like I'm just feeling it come out of my body, like, meh. I mean, and sometimes it's like, honestly, for a little while, a couple of weeks ago, it was coming out of my teeth. That sounds weird, but it was feeling like I had strong caramel stuck to my teeth, and someone was pulling it out inside my teeth and pulling it. It was weird. It was interesting, but weird. Anyway, so when I'm having these, I'm a little, I'm tired. But I usually am all over the place, so let's start again. So when I'm having these moments, when I keep thinking like I should turn the camera on, but then I'm thinking like, no, I really should just allow myself to feel this and allow myself to be in this. And I do think that's more important. But what I want to start doing is that after I have those moments, those calming, like moments, after I should come on and talk about them. But then it's just like, oh, I'm tired, or like, oh, it doesn't, but because it doesn't seem urgent, But I'm gonna work on coming in and talking more about the positive changes, because if I come in and just go like cry about what I'm feeling and what's going on, you're gonna think that nothing ever changes. And that is not true. I'm doing very well with my emotional work, and I'm very proud of myself. I mean, it's a lifetime journey, right? But what is that? Oh wow. Okay, so I just have to say, like, I'm touching my ankle right now, and my ankle has had a lot of trauma. I've sprained both my ankles more times than I can actually count. Like, I'm like, how many times? So they just blur together now. So I've got a lot of energy, a lot of like tension in my ankles, and I've been letting all this tension go. So my muscles are getting a little softer in some areas, but then they're not soft in others. So you're like, that's a knot. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Anyway. So I just want to come on and report, like, hey, if you do the work, you get the reward. It might take a while, and you have to stay at it. But I remember even when I was first kind of becoming aware of this way of working with yourself, when I started, there were results immediately. They were small and fleeting. But you have to keep working at it. That's the thing. I would always give up. I didn't know that you could work this way, and I didn't think it was possible. I thought I was, like, okay, well, it's possible for you, but it's not possible for me. And that's why I'm doing these videos, honestly, is because I know that when I was depressed and people told me, oh, I used to be depressed, I was like, okay, well, you got out of it. You obviously weren't as depressed as me. Because my depression is like here. And it was part of my identity, right? And honestly, it's not necessarily that I was thinking about it as a depression, but the emotions, I was so mired in them that I couldn't see reality. I couldn't believe that I could accomplish anything. I didn't believe that I deserved it. So I'm coming on here telling you that you can change the way that you think and the way that you feel, or the way you react to the way that you think and the way that you feel. Because you can, for a while, the emotions and the thoughts will be the same, but you can react to them differently. Like, one of my favorite ones has been, like, when I get upset or uncomfortable with an emotion, like loss or grief or, anger or sadness. Sadness is the normal one, the one that I'm most used to. I would start, like, I would be very stressed because I didn't ever realize that this was true. but I wanted to do, I mean, we always wanted to do something about it, right? And that's just the way, the human predicament, as uh, Michael Singer says. You know, we just stress about having these emotions and trying to make the outside better so that our insides feel better, and that does not work. You have to do the work inside to feel better, because if you depend on the outside, it's never going to happen. And it, like, even when it does, it's fleeting, like it goes. But what my point was, so when I stopped and I told myself, you know what, this is just the emotion that I'm having, I can just watch it and feel it and not do anything about it. That took half of the problem, maybe even more than half of the problem away, half of the bad feeling away. Because it's just like, oh, it's okay that I'm feeling this feeling. Just, you know, it's okay. And I mean, I would still really feel the feeling. I'd get into the feeling, but I wouldn't feel the stress of trying to figure out what I can do about it. So I'm just reporting to you that things, the more you work at them, the better they get. And I mean, there'll be a point, and this has been how many years I've been working like this. And granted, you know, some people go faster, you know, people have different paces, people have different commitments, right? Like when I first started, I'm just going off on one now, but when I first started doing this work, and I'd be listening to Michael Singer, and he's like, oh, you know, you need to be doing this work 24 hours a day. This is your life's work, you know, this is like, be present, you know, stay in the moment. And I was like, well, maybe like 20 minutes out of the day. But, you know, the rest of it. But that made it doable for me, because it seemed too overwhelming to be trying 24 hours a day. You know, well, 24, you know, you're sleeping during part of that, but, you know, 16 hours, the time that you're awake. It seemed daunting. So I'm just trying to give you some tips. So I would just tell myself, you know what, 15 minutes a day, an hour a day, broken up in different places, you know, and that it grows and grows and grows, and it just takes like commitment and determination. Like, I cannot allow my life to be the way it was, and honestly the way it is right now. Like, I cannot allow my life situation, not my life, but my life situation, to remain the way it has been. I'm not going to allow that. I did reach the point where I'm like, enough, this is too much. I'm going to die like this. I'm going to die with a life full of regret. I don't want that. I really don't want that. You know, some people feel like, well, no, I felt very much, and I still feel a lot of the time, that I've wasted my life. But here's the thing that I've realized. You're put here, we're all put here, so our soul can evolve. And the way we evolve is through doing this work, honestly. Like, it's through being in the moment and learning lessons is basically what it is. And there are a bunch of lessons that I obviously had to learn. So I can't regret that time. I can wish it away, but it's reality, and it happened, right? And now I'm 45, and still gets me, but I can feel that here and in my stomach, and now I can actually release a lot of it, which is fantastic. So I'm going to be grateful for that. I'm grateful that I've stuck to it, and I continue to stick to it. I'm grateful for the calm that I feel. I mean, it's a little tentative, the calm, but it's like, oh, I'm calm. It's very strange. Anyway, I was just about to go for full circle, but we'll stop because I could keep talking. And I think I'm just going to remind you guys, because I am grateful. I'm grateful for my past so that I could overcome it, overcome those emotions, overcome those feelings, and continue to work to overcome them, because they're not gone. But that I could work and get to a slightly stable, you know, as I work more, I'll get better and better. But you get to this place where I'm like, this is cool, I think. it's uncomfortable because it's not normal. It's not what I'm used to, but it's better than it used to be. So that's a little heads up. That might be something you feel when you start doing this work. It's like, I'm not used to feeling okay. I'm used to feeling varying degrees of awful. So I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for the work that I was able to do. And clearly my soul needs to learn these lessons, and that's something I'm really grateful to, is that my soul is learning these lessons. I am evolving, and that's what we're here for. And because I needed to learn the lessons that I need to learn, that's why the situations in my life happened. That's why the decisions that I made in my life happened, and those created the situations in my life. And I needed to free myself of that, and that's the reality. And it took work, and it took dedication, and it took really being focused on working on forgiving myself. That has been the hardest part. So I'm grateful for that. And in so doing, I want to remind you that you can always choose to have a grateful night. Now, can I